The peak of Mount Everest invites many climbers from all over the world to conquer it. Apart from the inspiring stories about struggle, there is a dark side that is increasingly worrying. However, to reach the peak of the highest mountain in the world, climbers must traverse a life-threatening track. Climbers are said to have to be prepared to die on the journey for days to get to the top. Since the first exploration of Everest was carried out in the early 1900s, more than 310 people have been found dead. Even climbers easily encounter views of corpses, which indicate the large number of dead. However, throughout 2023, the number of climber deaths has exceeded that figure. Moreover, this year is the busiest year on Everest. It is known that Nepal has issued 463 permits to people who want to climb. However, if you add accompanying Sherpas, it is estimated that approximately 900 people will attempt to climb the mountain in the 2023 climbing season. This figure is a record for the highest number of climbs. If a climber dies on Everest, it will be difficult to return the body. The bodies of the last climbers in some cases cost around $70,000. The process of returning the bodies is dangerous and can have fatal consequences, so the bodies are often left lying on the mountain. Previously, there was an incident in 1984. 2 climbers from Nepal died while trying to retrieve bodies from Everest. In 2018, the record holder for the woman who reached the top of Everest, Lakpa Sherpa, claimed to have seen 7 bodies on her way to the top of the mountain. The dark side of Everest also gave birth to a legendary story called Green Boots, which climbers have often told for years. They said several times they saw a man lying in a cave about 1,130 feet from the summit of Everest. The lowest temperature ever recorded at the top of Mount Everest was -70.5 degrees Celsius. This figure was recorded by a Korean-German team during an ascent to the summit in November 1975. An altitude of 4,000 meters above sea level does not produce enough atmospheric pressure to cool the air significantly. This lack of pressure is what causes the dryness and coldness of the highland areas. As a result, there is very little moisture in the air, and the temperature drops sharply. In fact, by high-altitude standards, summers in the mountains are very cold. At the top of Mount Everest, temperatures are usually around -10 degrees Celsius in the summer months. There are several symptoms that altitude sickness can attack, including nausea, headaches, dizziness, and fatigue. However, the main cause of altitude sickness is lack of oxygen. At Pangakalan Everest camping on the Khumbu Glacier, located at an altitude of 5,400 meters, oxygen levels are around 50% of the oxygen levels at sea level. The decrease in barometric pressure and oxygen that we can experience has a very detrimental effect on the brain and body. Congestion usually occurs on the roads, but this time it was experienced near the peak of Mount Everest, Nepal. This traffic jam on Everest is life-threatening. At least 2 climbers have died. They have to queue for hours to reach the world's highest peak, and this is dangerous. In the midst of freezing weather, at an altitude of more than 8,800 meters with steep climbing contours, a person's body condition can drop. This event occurred in the middle of the busiest climbing season on Everest. Most climbing is done between April and the end of May because the weather is calm without storms.